UNLV falls to Tennesse State 63-60 in the most embarrassing performance of the year as the Runnin' Rebels come up short to play sloppy and undisciplined and once again fail and fail and fail. This is the Let's Run podcast. Hello everyone, welcome to the show today. Grateful to have you here. Wish I was talking to you guys on better terms tonight. As we just concluded one of the most frustrating games that I can remember as a Runnin' Rebel fan, one of the more frustrating just states of the program that I can remember. Listen, I'm having a hard time tonight collecting myself because what I want to do is come on here and say fire everybody and the team sucks and the school doesn't believe in the program and we're cursed. And that's what I want to come on here and say, just because I'm frustrated, and I get that we all are frustrated. Do I think that at this point in this coaching staff's tenure or with this group of players, do I think that that's particularly useful tonight? No, probably not. They're not playing well. They have failed in all the most important ways. And I mean, like, I want to come on here and I want to rage. And it's the first year of a coach and I don't know what that's going to do. I mean, you don't fire a coach after 1 year, nor should you generally. If you made a hire, you have to live with it. I hated this hire. I have wanted to be wrong about hating this hire from the beginning, but I'm really frustrated right now. And I don't think that, I don't think that coming on here and clowning on the team and clowning on the players is really going to do anybody any good. It might make us feel better. And maybe tomorrow for a Burner Brigade podcast, we can open up a Twitter space and talk about it a little bit. We absolutely should. But guys, I'm just kind of at a loss for words right now about where UNLV basketball is. Let's go over the box score here. I'm going to try and keep myself calm and collected in this one because I'm very upset. I know you guys are too, especially if you're watching this. I know you're as upset as I am. UNLV loses 63-60. UNLV finishes the game as a team, shooting 44% from the field, 16 of 36, 3 of 15 from the three-point line, a astounding 19 of 32 from the free throw line for 59%. UNLV is, I believe... UNLV is out rebounded in this game by 3 against this Tennesse State team. UNLV did not have the excuse of not having healthy players tonight. They were definitely healthy enough to win this game. They were not small, like Coach Pastner liked to complain about at the Players Era tournament. They certainly had the guys available to win this game and just didn't. UNLV seemed completely inept against a team running a zone defense. Teams do not seemingly have to guard the 3-point line at all off ball. Guys can just stay 10 feet away from the corner, and UNLV is no threat from the outside at all. They look completely inept, completely just unable to, get things going on the offensive side of the ball. Looking at the individual players, the leading scorer for this game was Dre Gibbs-Lawhorn. He finishes with he had 8 shot attempts. What are we doing here? I mean, the issue is that this team, very rarely in this game tonight did this team actually get to the point where they were taking shots that they were capable of making because the team was bumbling around with the ball, playing butterfingers, had rubber hands this game as the ball was bouncing off of them at every possible opportunity. Kamani Hamilton, just a terrible performance. I mean, 7 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 turnover, an 84 offensive rating, just horrific. I have no words for this, for this Kamani Hamilton offensive performance. I thought it was just out of control. Only 1 turnover is absolutely shocking. Dre Gibbs-Lawhorn, leading scorer, but 5 turnovers and 1 assist. I mean, listen, man, I get it. You want Miles Che on the program, but if your team is unable to play competent basketball on a night-in and night-out basis, I mean, even somewhat competent basketball on a night-in and night-out basis, simply because one player goes out, you don't have a very good roster, Josh. And it's your responsibility to put the roster together. I do not care that Miles Che is out, that we don't have a point guard on the roster. If you're the one that builds the roster Injuries are a part of college sports. If one player being injured going out derails your ability to beat teams that are horrible, then you are just not doing a good job. And so, frankly, I just could not care less about Miles Che's absence tonight. There's no excuse for how this team looked offensively: inept, unorganized, disorganized. They didn't look like they had a plan. It looked like coach was telling them, repeatedly on the sideline, do this, do that, do this, do that. The players were overwhelmed. They didn't know what they were doing. He couldn't simplify the game down. And this team ends up looking just horrific on the offensive side of the ball. Isaac Williamson finishes with 8 points, 2 of 4 from 2, 0 of 2 from 3, 4 of 6 from the free throw line, 1 rebound, 1 turnover. I mean, where are the rebounds here? Emmanuel Stephan, just after his 18.10 rebound performance, finishes with 5 rebounds, 3 turnovers, 4 personal fouls. I mean, he was horrific tonight. And look, you expect some level of rust from Emmanuel Stephan, but he's got butterfingers up the wazoo, and just did not seem to be a guy that knew how to play organized basketball tonight. Walter Brown, again, seemed to be one of the very few people who knew how to play basketball on the court tonight. Even though he did not have an impact on the game really at all, just didn't take a lot of shots. Walter Brown just doesn't take shots that he's not capable of making. And that sometimes is an asset, but if you're not, taking shots at all, that's also a problem if you're not a threat to score on the floor, and often he isn't. Al Green, just a horrific performance from him. Just 3 turnovers, 1 assist, 2 rebounds, 0 of 3 from the field, 1 of 3 from 3, 0 of 3 from 2, 1 of 3 from 3. Howie Fleming, probably the only guy on this team that I would say did not play a putrid game, and barely played at all, by the way, 20 minutes. I think he's been dealing with some injury issues. So, it is what it is. Had a block, a couple of steals. Naz Cunningham, 13 minutes. I mean, Naz Cunningham is tall enough that when he shoots, he's capable of making a lot of the shots that he's taking. But, not a lot from Naz tonight. And Jacob Benarbi, who I thought was okay, but finishes 2 of 7, has butterfingers, doesn't finish well under the rim tonight. Was rebounding okay, but had two turnovers, no assists, as the Rebels just fail to secure offensive and defensive rebounds, fail to shoot. This team, and look, guys, we can talk about the 3-point shooting all we want. UNLV lost to a team that shot 2 of 16 from the 3-point line. Tennessee State was actually even worse than the Runnin' Rebels were tonight from the 3-point line. Tennessee State shoots 13 free throws to UNLV's 32, and UNLV walks away defeated in this game. UNLV shoots 0.85 points per possession. That's how ineffective they were. The reason why Tennessee State won this game is they were 59%. So UNLV's defense that looked okay in the first half absolutely crumbles in the last 5 minutes of the game, ends up giving up a 60%, just about 60% from inside the arc. So UNLV's defense had their opponent only scores 63 points. UNLV's defense, that might tell you UNLV's defense played okay in this game. And there were certainly times in the first half that the UNLV's defense was playing fine, but UNLV's defense crumbled when the game mattered most, fell apart. And that's on the staff and that's on the players, and just, it's terrible. And so I don't have words for this, man. I really don't. And so let's go over some comments here. I can't imagine this is going to be, through 5 games, guys, if you remember, through 5 games, this is not a super small sample size. It's a small sample size. UNLV led the country in 2-point shooting percentage, was averaging 95 points per game, and now is way healthier than they were back then, and all of a sudden can't score? What's going on here? I don't understand this. After this performance, how many times do we beat the SDSU this year? Over under 1.5. UNLV is going to beat some teams in the Mountain West. I mean, they're going to go on the road and beat a Utah State or a Boise State, but they're also going to lose at home to Air Force. That's just the DNA of this program. It's just instilled into this program. Betts Market says, hated the hire when it was announced. He got me to buy in with his press conferences. At this point, I'm just sad. I don't want to be right. Let me go through guys' comments. I have a few things I want to say about Coach Passner and just about the UNLV basketball program in general tonight. Literally just big. No matter who is coaching or who is playing, it seems like UNLV, no matter what, will win big games, lose terrible ones, and make sure to torture the fans. Yeah, this is not a fun team. This is not a fun program to be a fan of. It just isn't. I don't even know what to say. And Stephan getting 3 shots is unacceptable. I agree. Beat Memphis, beat Stanford, lose to every team in Tennessee except for the real University of Tennessee. Brutal, yeah. Give Naz more run. I agree. Naz is capable of taking shots that he can make. Miles Che can't save us. Yeah, I mean, there's no injury excuse for how bad this team has played. I don't care if Josh gets up. I mean, I'm sure Josh won't get up there and talk about injuries. He'll get up there in the press conference to say all the right things, and Josh knows what's wrong. It's just a lot of people think that coaching is about knowledge, and that's part of it. You have to have knowledge, but it's about getting your players to play the right way. And Josh can't do that right now. I mean, he hasn't been able to do that consistently. And might as well redshirt him. All he does is chuck. This is embarrassing. I agree, Josh Scroggins. Thank goodness we are a football school now. Yes, we do really seem like a football school now. The basketball program is at rock bottom. You cannot beat Stanford on the road and then lose to Tennessee State. This is on everybody on the team. Yes, this is on everybody. It's not just on Josh. It's not just on the staff. It's not just on Wilkinson. It's not just on Justin Hawkins. It's not just on Anthony Marshall. The staff that should be embarrassed tonight and are embarrassed tonight. By the way, they know how horrific this loss is. This is on all the players too. Just horrific. Coach needs to give Nas more minutes. Yeah, well, I mean, Kamani Hamilton is a terrorist. This team has no identity at all. I mean, they have attempts of an identity, but they're just failing at executing their identity. Sign of terrible coaching. This team is playing up and down to competition. I totally agree. Let me look for a couple more comments here. The lack of consistency in playing time for these guys is not great. TBH. Yeah, I agree. By the way, this roster this season is a more expensive roster than last year's team. So UNLV is paying more for their players this year than they did last year and getting worse results from their new coach. And last year's team had injuries too. So, Rob Whaley was out the whole season last year, who was supposed to be our second best player. So, I mean, we fired Kevin Kruger, and Kevin Kruger needed to be fired, and are replacing him with worse results. It's pathetic, man. I don't know what we're doing here. So yeah, and last year's team did suck, but they were, I don't miss DJ Thomas. I mean, he's a great player, but he's where he belongs. And I was glad we had him when we did. He belonged in the Rebels too, but we couldn't afford him anymore. The team building wasn't sustainable around paying DJ. We needed extra scholarships, and we were watching players use ones that we have poorly. Yeah, I just don't think that coach put together a good roster this season. Not that it doesn't have good players and isn't capable of being a good roster this season, but I don't know, man. So let me talk a little bit because I'm not going to go super long tonight. I'm pissed. Nothing I say is going to make anybody feel any better tonight. But I have had Coach Passner on my show twice. And I'm going to ask him to come on again if he wants to come on my show. I don't think he will enjoy talking to me right now because I won't change my demeanor. I mean, I'm not that I'm going to get on here and yell at him or anything. I'd be very respectful and supportive too. I mean, like, he's our coach, whether we like it or not. It's his first season. I'm going to keep supporting him and the team. I'm going to have a level of faith that they can be better than this. But I'm really disappointed in what Coach Passner has done so far this season. And when Coach came on, when Coach Passner has talked to me personally several times, and one of the things that he talked about is, we need to have a good home court advantage. We need the Thomas and Mack to be rocking. And I understand that basketball has been down, and that's why attendance is really bad right now. But what comes first, the chicken or the egg? If people come, our team will be better. And let me just say that if you want people to spend their hard-earned money at the Thomas and Mack, I understand that top 25 teams coming in are going to be able to beat us. I mean, we're not that level of program yet. And I think people would understand that too. But fans that are paying to go to the Thomas and Mack, I mean, I spent $20 on this game to watch Baller TV tonight. The school is supporting a Ponzi scheme by making fans either go to Henderson, which I can't do because we have our infant and I just couldn't get out of the house today. I guess I'm glad I didn't, but I mean, I wish I could have been there to support the guys, but, let's be real. I mean, so Coach Passner's saying, well, we need you guys to come to the stadium and that's going to help us get better. But being a fan is like entering into a contract with a team, right? And if you want people to enter into a contract with you that they're going to come and support your team, there has to be a baseline minimum level of competence. People have to trust that when they come and see the Runnin' Rebels play, against number 230 Tennessee State, they're not going to lose, that they're not going to leave every game pissed off about the variation in effort and the variation in execution and the uneven play and the horrific losses. Why are fans supposed to believe in this program if they cannot trust their program to beat Tennessee State? Why should anybody come and pay money and give money to this school that clearly is not doing the right things when it comes to running a competent basketball program? Why should people give you money if they can't even expect the baseline level minimum competence? You are not going to get more than 3,000 people at games if people can't trust you. It's a level of trust. They have to trust you. And I'm not saying they have to trust you to beat San Diego State at home, who's ranked number 22 and has a top 10 defense. They have to trust you to beat UT Martin on the night that you're rededicating your court to Lois Tarkanian. They have to trust you to beat Montana, a team that scored 103 points on the Thomas and Mack floor. They have to trust you that if they're going to pay $20 on Baller TV and drive out and you're playing not number 10 Alabama, you're playing number 240 Tennessee State, they have to be able to trust you. And people cannot trust you, Josh. Independent of how empty the Thomas and Mack is, independent of the injuries, they have to be able to trust you, and they cannot. And listen, one game, like Boise State lost to Hawaii Pacific to open up the season, but Leon Rice has 20 years at Boise State of not losing games like at home to Tennessee State 4 times in a 10-game sample. That's not to say you're perfect. And look, I thought the guys played hard tonight, but they didn't play with direction. They didn't play with purpose. Playing hard, I could go out there and play hard and get blasted by 500 points. And I'm out there with a bum knee. I have a bad knee. I could be out there giving it my 100% effort, and it won't matter if I'm not playing the right way, if I'm not playing smart, if I'm not executing, if the teacher on the sideline is not getting me to make the right play at the right time. How are people supposed to trust you? And this isn't just Josh. This is Eric Harper. This is the Board of Regents. This is everybody that has ever had a hand in UNLV basketball. How can they trust you? They can't. All you're doing is taking away our mascot and calling it racist. All you're doing is lecturing fans about how you're going to be in the Big 12. All you're doing, and look, fair enough. You make your decisions. We live with it. We support you. All you're doing is secretly extending Kevin Kruger under the table and making fans all of a sudden have a $3 million deficit that you're acting on when you're trying to build up a program, you know, and hiring a budget coach and getting played by Brian Hodgson. Where's the trust, man? I just like, if people are fans of I don't know, New Mexico. And look, New Mexico had its rough stretch. It lasted for about 7 or 8 years. But, you know, people go to New Mexico games and expect a minimum baseline level of competence, and that's why they're getting 15,000 people at the pit. People do not know what to expect from UNLV basketball. All they know is that when they get on Twitter, they're going to be subjected to fans of other schools making fun of you for losing to Tennessee State. How are you supposed to be proud of UNLV basketball right now, of where it's been for the last 12 years? You can't. It's hard. It's really tough. And I'm still a proud Runnin' Rebel fan. I do it because I love it. I do it because it's my team, because I'm never going to give up on it. But how are you supposed to have any pride? You know, how are you supposed to be proud of it? Because it's so uneven. It's so inconsistent. How am I supposed to tell my friends to buy tickets to come to the Thomas and Mack? How am I supposed to do that? It's just completely unacceptable. It is, man. And guess what, Josh, coaching staff, players, there's nothing you can say. There's nothing. There's nothing Coach Pastor can say in a post-game interview that's going to make anybody feel any better. Going to the Players Era tournament, losing to Alabama by 50, you can live with that. Losing to Maryland in a close, hard-fought game, you can live with that. What you can't do is losing the types of games that UNLV has lost time and time again over the last 12 years. It's just it's unbearable. It's unbearable. And that's why people aren't coming, because it's too painful. And then all of a sudden you want to ask fans to trust you to come to the Thomas and Mack, even though you haven't proven anything yet. All of a sudden you're saying, hey, buy season tickets. Come support our product. Yeah, losing Air Force on Tarkanian night. Not to mention when, I can go over 20 games over the last 10 years that have just made me feel like just horrible, man. I mean, wish we had a solid recruit system for ball players that just win games instead of chasing stars. I don't know what the answer is, man. I don't. Yeah, they didn't score a point in the final 3 minutes and 20 seconds. So listen, man, I got nothing. I've got nothing tonight. I'm ticked off about it. Nothing's going to make me feel better about it. And this team's inability to attack a zone defense without the ball bouncing off their hands. This team's inability tonight to finish at the rim. This team's inability tonight to hit free throws. This team's inability tonight to play, defense at the rim, staying straight up. I got nothing. I have nothing. And so I'm gonna end it there, man. Anybody have any comments? That was the worst AD in UNLV history. Thought his wife was going to take the AD job. Oh, Robert Maxson, I think that's who you're talking about. Yeah. This is why we need a basketball GM. Eric Harper cannot deliver the product the Runnin' Rebel fans need. They're not gonna get a basketball GM because they don't want to spend money on basketball. Basketball, I personally think, in my opinion, that Eric Harper could not care less about basketball. All he wants to do is have people not yelling at him about where basketball is. All he wants to do is get basketball to just a good enough spot that people won't yell at him, so that he can focus on defense and so he can focus on football. And fair enough, football is the most important. A rising tide raises all ships. It does. But I don't believe that Eric Harper cares about UNLV basketball that much. And I think that the results, the things that he's done while he's been our athletic director, have shown that. What makes the AD care about basketball? I mean, to be fair, when Eric Harper inherited UNLV's athletic program, basketball was already a mess. I mean, so it's not like Eric Harper is the reason that basketball is a mess. You can blame TKM and DRF, the ADs that started this mess of this program 12 years ago with Dave Rice. So, yeah, guys, we're not firing Josh. He's gonna have two to 4 years really to be the coach of this program. There's no changing anything. I mean, this is what it is, and it's just gonna have to be Josh working hard and figuring something out. But all the knowledge, all the press conferences, all the talks don't mean anything if you can't teach your players fundamental basketball. Attacking a zone is fundamental basketball. It's core bedrock principles. And this team absolutely, utterly failed at it tonight. Shooting is about, honestly, it's about repetition, fundamental reps. I mean, there's natural talent to it, of course. But this is just a horrific shooting team. They're awful. And I don't care that you're missing Miles Che. Miles Che is not turning you from a bad shooting team to a good shooting team. It's not. I get it. We're not as good at shooting as we could be. But I was watching this team try and play offense tonight, and they didn't seem to have any answers for one of the worst teams they're going to play all year. And guess what? Beating San Diego State at home in a month or 2 months from now, that's not going to change anything. It doesn't matter who you beat. Thomas and Mack Center is going to be half empty. UNLV would be over the moon if they could fill the Thomas and Mack to halfway. How about 8% capacity, not 50%, 8%. You're gonna have a hard time filling the Thomas and Mack to 10% capacity with how the team is playing right now. You just are. It's not going to go well for you. So, yeah, I mean, football's the school's focus right now, and I think that's what it feels like. And I've got nothing else. I've got nothing else to say. I mean, the inability to attack a zone tonight, the inability to play under control, the inability to finish at the rim, all of these things are basic fundamentals of basketball. And there's not a single excuse, whether they be injuries, lack of reps, sometimes you just have off games. That happens, but you can't lose this game to Tennessee State. You just can't. You just can't. And I don't know what I'm supposed to tell people when I tell them that I'm a UNLV basketball fan after night tonight. I don't know what I'm supposed to tell people. I don't. So guys, I'm going to end it there just because I feel like I've said everything I need to say. I'm kind of rambling now, and I don't want to ramble too much. But I mean, I'm still going to be talking about the game. I'm still going to be at every single game at the Thomas and Mack. I'm not going anywhere. I hope you don't either. I hope that you pay attention. I hope you keep supporting the team. I got nothing. You guys have a good night. I'll be live next post game, and I'll try to get Josh on. I'd have to be careful. I don't know that Josh would want to. Again, I don't know that Josh is going to want to talk to fans right now. But I'll try and get him on again before conference play starts. And I can ask him some of these things, but I do have to be I have to be respectful to him because he's our coach and I want him to be successful. And the only way UNLV basketball is successful over the next 2 to 4 years is if Josh Pastner makes it successful. So there's no way out of it right now. I mean, this is who our guy is, and we got to support him. We got to, for as long as is reasonable. And then, if he doesn't prove that he can do it, then they're going to spend money on football. They're not firing Josh. Josh is going to be here for 3 to 4 years at least. And so it's got to be him. There's nobody else. It's Josh. It's Josh or bust right now. That's all we got. And so I'm going to keep showing up. I'm going to keep supporting him. I hope I'm going to support the guys. I like a lot of players on this team, but I'm disgusted and I got nothing. So guys, have a good night. Have a good rest of your weekend. I appreciate you all checking out the show, and let's run.